Hey everybody, we are doing a audit for Diamond Source NYC. So we're just gonna go through this site completely blind. We've never been to this site before, and just see what we find out. I think right off the bat seems very typical of a lot of these types of websites showing premium products right off the bat. Definitely, Rolex dealer showing that off, I think is great. Highlighting the watches, highlighting the rings and diamonds, jewelry. The one question that I have, because there's watches are so prominent on the homepage, are you primarily like where does the majority of your business come from? Does it come from watches? Does it come from standard jewelry? If it does come from watches, then I would potentially move some of these up as well as having, elements of jewelry throughout the website. But it does, it's kind of the first thing on your website, watches, and then everything else is kind of after that. So if watches are your biggest thing, then I definitely would consider making watches the primary thing that people see when they first enter your website. All right, let's look at some of the pages here. I think overall, standard shop page got a lot of pages going on. The biggest thing is, and this might be my ignorance, is we have in the item name, we have like the reference number and everything like that. I would be curious, are people that are searching for these kind of higher end Rolex watches, are they primarily searching for the reference number, or are they looking more for the name? And if they're looking for the name, I definitely would make that more prominent on this. If they're looking for the reference number, then I think what you have is completely fine. But I'm not, I like watches, but I'm not really in the know of some of these type of watches and how people are necessarily searching for them once they get to the website. All right, let's look at engagement rings. Yeah, I think overall this is good too. The one thing that I would say is there's a little bit of an inconsistency in how you're presenting your product. So we see a lot of these like product photos, and then we have a lot of these type photos as well, like more lifestyle photos. So I would suggest being a little more consistent. The one thing that I have noticed with working with a lot of jewelry retailers is a lot of times people looking for certain rings, they tend to shy away from pictures with hands in them because they like the ring, even though there might be multiples of a certain type of ring. Maybe there's not, but they like the ring to feel like their own. And sometimes, unlike many other products, seeing a hand, the ring's already being shown on someone else. And so that can draw some users away from potentially looking at or purchasing a certain type of ring. We'll go over here. We did a little technical audit of the website. So biggest thing right off the bat, there's a lot of server errors. So things that, the site's really, there's a lot of pages, which is understandable. The server errors could be because the site's really slow to load on a lot of different pages. And we can probably take a look. Images overall, I don't know if it's scanned all the images yet. It's been scanning for a decent amount of time. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact with how big the site is. But just right off the bat, the server errors are troublesome. We definitely don't want that. I'm missing a lot of H1s. Like without H1s, Google isn't going to know what that, that's one of the primary things Google's looking at when trying to rank your site or figure out what a page is ranked for. So making sure those are on every single page. Looks like a lot of potential product pages. Like this one, there's no H1 and this is just watch appraisal. So if we just look at that, like we can add, there could be an H1, right under this image or right above this image that says watch appraisal. I think that would be super easy to add. The other thing I see, like in a lot of your content pages, there's no internal linking. This is probably also another big reason why there's a lot of server errors. It doesn't necessarily mean that the pages aren't loading. It just means that the site is so slow to load or slow to crawl, I should say. Without internal linking, a lot of the bots that are going to be ranking your website, that are crawling your website, it takes them a lot longer to crawl your website. The internal links are going to give them doors into other pages, give them better ideas of what those other pages are about because they're connected to these pages. So that's something that I would definitely consider adding to your website. And it actually might get rid of some of these server errors. Because if this tool is having a hard time crawling it, the other tools definitely are as well. Looks like there's a lot of security issues. A lot of links without, being defined what that link is. There is definitely a lot on this website technically that should be optimized or fixed if this, website is going to rank better on Google and you're going to get a lot more organic traffic. I love the fact that you have a blog. I think that's fantastic. Definitely need that for SEO. You scroll to the bottom. In the footer, one of those things, I think you could probably take this blog post out of the footer. Most people are not going to be going there. They're going to be looking at a lot of other things for like contact. Definitely want that. And then, certain menu items, your most important menu items should also be going in the footer. That's going to help rank a lot as well. Links in the blogs. Yeah, I think overall, layout's fine, but again, the internal linking is going to be big. And then all I would say is like on a lot of some of these pages, you might as well add a little bit of a CTA here and there to help users, because you're drawing the user in with the content. And if they decide, hey, I do want to look at a watch, you want to give them that option pretty easily as well. So overall, there's a lot that can be done on this website. A lot of technical errors that it seems daunting when you look at all the errors, but a lot of these are pretty easy fixes, and they aren't something that you have to do like a whole site overhaul for. So wouldn't worry about that. But there's a lot of really simple things that can be done to this website to help it rank a lot better on Google. Anyway, that's the audit.